When you open your eyes after Fajr, you are standing at the doorway of an entire day that Allah has just gifted you. Nothing has happened yet, no mistakes, no losses, no distractions. That moment right there is powerful, and too many of us rush past it without realizing what we're holding. This is why the very first thing we do after Fajr matters so much. Before you reach for your phone, before you think about work, family, or worries, pause and acknowledge the one who woke you up. Gratitude at this time is not just a polite habit, it is a spiritual key. Allah tells us clearly that if we are grateful, He will increase us, increases barakah, increases ease, increases peace in what we already have. Begin by saying Alhamdulillah, not mechanically but consciously. Say it knowing that many people went to sleep last night and did not wake up. Say it knowing that your heart is still beating because Allah allowed it to beat. When gratitude comes from awareness, it softens the heart and humbles the ego. It reminds you that you are not in control and yet you are deeply cared for. That realization alone can change the emotional tone of your entire day. Alongside gratitude comes intention, and intention is what gives ordinary actions extraordinary weight. After Fajr, take a moment to speak to Allah in your heart and set your niyyah for the day. Intend that everything you do, whether it feels spiritual or worldly, is for His sake. Intend that your work is halal, your interactions are kind, your patience is for His pleasure, and your struggles are a form of worship. When intention is clear, even the most exhausting tasks become lighter because they now carry meaning. Many of us underestimate how powerful intention really is. We think worship is limited to prayer, fasting, and charity, but Islam is far broader than that. When you set your intention early in the morning, you are aligning your entire day with purpose. You are telling your soul, today I belong to Allah. And when the soul knows where it belongs, it finds stability even in chaos. This moment after Fajr is also a time to surrender your plans. Yes, you may have goals, schedules, and ambitions, but placing them in Allah's hands first changes how they unfold. Say to Allah, I plan, but you decide. I strive, but you bless. This surrender does not weaken you, it strengthens you. It removes anxiety about outcomes and replaces it with trust. Barakah thrives in hearts that trust Allah more than their own abilities. Gratitude and intention together act like spiritual alignment. Without them, the day feels rushed, reactive, and heavy. With them, even difficulties feel guided. You may still face challenges, but you face them with a grounded heart. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how can I please Allah through this? That shift alone is a form of barakah. And notice how starting your day this way affects your character. A grateful heart is less likely to complain. A heart guided by intention is less likely to harm others. You become more mindful of your words, your tone, and your choices because you remember who you are answering to. This mindfulness is not stressful, it is freeing. It gives your day a moral compass. The beauty of beginning with gratitude and intention after Fajr is that it doesn't require extra time, money, or energy. It requires presence. Just a few sincere moments can recalibrate your entire day. And when done consistently, it reshapes your life. Days turn into habits. Habits turn into character, and character draws the pleasure of Allah. So as the sun begins to rise and the world slowly wakes up, let your heart wake up first, anchor it in gratitude, direct it with intention. This is how barakah quietly enters your day before anything else does, and once it enters, it changes everything. After you have prayed Fajr and settled your heart with gratitude and intention, do not rush away from that sacred space. This is the time many people lose without realizing what they are walking away from. The moments after Fajr carry a quiet, unique blessing that does not return once the day becomes noisy. The world is still calm, distractions are minimal, and your heart is softer than it will be at any other point in the day. This is why remaining in Dhikr and Istighfar after Fajr is not just recommended, it is transformative. Dhikr is not meant to be rushed or robotic. It is meant to be lived. When you say Subhanallah, you are reminding yourself that Allah is perfect even when your life feels messy. When you say Alhamdulillah, you are training your heart to see blessings instead of shortages. When you say Allahu Akbar, you are shrinking your problems down to their real size. These simple words recalibrate your inner world. They bring clarity where there was confusion and calm where there was anxiety. Istighfar, in particular, holds immense power in the early morning. Seeking forgiveness at this time is not about drowning in guilt, it is about release. We all carry sins, mistakes, and regrets, whether we acknowledge them or not. Istighfar gently lifts that weight from the heart. It is like clearing dust from a mirror so it can reflect light again. And when the heart is clear, Barakah finds room to enter. Allah links forgiveness directly to provision, ease, and relief. Many people search endlessly for solutions to their problems while ignoring the spiritual locks that block them. Sometimes doors remain closed not because effort is lacking, but because repentance is missing. Istighfar after Fajr opens doors you did not even know were closed. It invites mercy into your finances, your relationships, and your emotional well-being. Remaining seated after Fajr, engaged in remembrance, is also a way of honoring the prayer you just offered. Salah is NBR bar. OT meant to end with the final salam. It is meant to echo. Dhikr allows that echo to continue. It allows the peace of prayer to settle deeper instead of being interrupted by haste. When you rush away immediately, it is like planting a seed and walking away before watering it. This time is also about training the soul. The soul either leads or is led. When you discipline it to remember Allah in the quiet hours, it becomes more resilient during the loud ones. A heart that tastes dhikr in the morning is less likely to seek unhealthy distractions later. It has already been nourished. And understand this, dhikr is not limited to a long list of supplications. Even a few sincere minutes are powerful. What matters is consistency and presence. Sit, breathe, and let the remembrance sink in. Speak to Allah without formality. Ask for forgiveness with honesty. Remember Him as someone who knows you completely and still shows you mercy. There is also a protection that comes from this habit. The early morning remembrance acts like a spiritual shield around your day. It does not mean difficulties will disappear, but it means they will not crush you. You will move through challenges with a sense of divine companionship. You will feel less alone, less overwhelmed, and more anchored. Many people complain of emptiness, restlessness, and constant stress, yet they give their best mental energy to the world and their leftovers to Allah. Dhikr after Fajr reverses that order. It says, "You come fi, RST," and when Allah comes first, everything else finds its proper place. This practice also slows you down in the best way. In a world obsessed with speed, Dhikr teaches depth. It reminds you that success is not only about how much you do, but how connected you remain while doing it. Barakah lives in that connection. So when Fajr ends, do not see it as the finish line. See it as an invitation to stay a little longer with the one who woke you up, forgave you again, and is ready to pour blessings into your day if you make space for Him. Once your heart has been softened through gratitude, intention, dhikr, and seeking forgiveness, this is the moment to open the Book of Allah. The Qur'an after Fajr is not the same as the Qur'an at any other time of day. There is a reason the early morning recitation carries a special weight. Your mind is clearer, your heart is quieter, and the world has not yet pulled you in 1,000 different directions. When you recite at this time, the words do not just pass over your tongue, they settle into your soul. You do not need to read long portions to feel its impact. Even a few verses recited slowly and attentively can illuminate your entire day. The Qur'an is not about quantity, it is about connection. When you approach it in the stillness after Fajr, you are approaching it with presence, and presence is what allows guidance to take root. The same verses you may have read many times before suddenly feel personal, as if they are speaking directly to you. The Qur'an is a conversation, not a performance. It is Allah speaking to you, addressing your fears, your hopes, your struggles, and your questions. When you listen or recite in the early morning, your heart is more receptive to that conversation. You are less defensive, less distracted, and more open to being shaped by divine wisdom. This is how the Qur'an becomes a source of strength rather than just a ritual. Reciting after Fajr also sets the spiritual tone for the day. Whatever fills your heart first tends to influence everything that follows. If the first voices you listen to are messages, news, or social media, those voices will shape your emotions and reactions. But if the first words you absorb are the words of Allah, they anchor you. They remind you who you are, why you are here, and where you are ultimately returning. The Qur'an has a way of organizing chaos within us. When life feels overwhelming, it brings clarity. When the heart feels heavy, it brings relief. When faith feels weak, it restores strength. And when read consistently after Fajr, it becomes a daily source of spiritual nourishment, not something you turn to only in moments of crisis. Many people say they want guidance, yet they do not regularly open the very book that was sent for that purpose. Guidance is not only about making big life decisions, it is about navigating daily interactions, emotions, and choices. The Qur'an shapes how you speak, how you respond, and how you treat others. Over time, its influence becomes visible in your character. It is also important to remember that recitation does not require perfect pronunciation or deep scholarly understanding to be meaningful. What Allah looks at is sincerity. Read what you can. Reflect where you are able, and if you do not understand a verse, let it inspire curiosity rather than distance. Even listening to the Qur'an attentively carries immense reward and benefit. The early morning Qur'an also brings a special kind of light, a nur that follows you throughout the day. It strengthens your spiritual immunity. Temptations may still appear, but your resistance is stronger. Negative thoughts may still arise, but your heart is steadier. This is Barakah in its quiet form, not loud or dramatic, but deeply effective. Consistency matters more than intensity. A few verses every morning are better than long sessions that happen once in a while. Over time, this habit becomes part of who you are. The Qur'an stops feeling like something you fit into your life and starts feeling like something your life is built around. And as you sit with the Qur'an after Fajr, remember that this is not time lost, it is time invested. It is an investment in clarity, in resilience, and in a heart that remains connected to Allah, no matter how demanding the day becomes. Let the Qur'an be the first voice that shapes your thoughts, and you will carry its guidance with you long after the sun has fully risen. After grounding your here. In remembrance and nourishing it with the Qur'an, this is the moment to raise your hands and speak to Allah with honesty and hope. The time after Fajr is not just quiet on the outside, it is receptive on the inside. It is a time when the heart is most sincere, most aware of its dependence, and most ready to ask. Du'a in these moments is not rushed, not distracted, and not filtered. It is raw, real, and deeply personal. Many people limit du'a to a few memorized phrases said quickly before moving on. But du'a is meant to be a conversation, not a checklist. Speak to Allah about everything. About your fears, your goals, your exhaustion, and your hopes. Ask Him for guidance before confusion sets in, for protection before harm approaches, and for ease before hardship arrives. When you ask early, you invite Allah into your day before the world takes over. This is also the time to ask specifically for halal rizq. Rizq is not just money, it is peace of mind, beneficial knowledge, good health, and relationships that bring you closer to Allah rather than pulling you away. When you ask for rizq after Fajr, you are asking for a form of sustenance that is clean, blessed, and sufficient. You are asking for provision that does not corrupt the heart or distract you from your purpose. Du'a after Fajr is powerful because it aligns with trust. You have just prayed, remembered Allah, and listened to His words. Your heart is in a state of surrender. In that state, du'a is not demanding. It is dependent. It acknowledges that you do your part. But Allah controls outcomes. This mindset removes arrogance and replaces it with humility, and humility attracts mercy. Ask also for guidance. We often assume we know what is best for us, but life repeatedly shows us how limited our vision can be. Guidance is not only about choosing between right and wrong, it is about choosing what is better, what is purer, and what is more pleasing to Allah. Ask Allah to guide your decisions, your reactions, and your words. Ask Him to protect you from choices that look appealing but carry harm. Protection is another essential du'a at this time. The day will bring interactions, environments, and influences you cannot fully predict. Ask Allah to protect your Iman, your heart, your eyes, and your tongue. Ask Him to shield you from jealousy, negativity, and whispers that pull you away from Him. Protection does not mean absence of tests, it means strength within them. There is also a deep emotional healing that happens when you make du'a after Fajr. Worries that feel heavy at night often feel lighter in the morning light of faith. When you place your concerns in Allah's hands early, they do not dominate your thoughts throughout the day. You move forward knowing that you have already handed them to the one who is fully capable of handling them. And remember, du'a is not weakened by repetition. If you ask for the same thing every morning, it does not mean Allah is ignoring you. Sometimes delay is mercy, sometimes it is protection, and sometimes it is preparation. Keep asking with certainty, not entitlement. Trust that Allah hears every word, even when the answer is not immediate. This early morning du'a also trains the heart to turn to Allah first, not last. Too often we exhaust every worldly option before we raise our hands. After Fajr, du'a becomes the foundation rather than the emergency response. It becomes a habit of reliance, not a reaction to desperation. When you make du'a at this time, you are setting the direction of your day. You are saying, I cannot do this without you. And that admission is not weakness, it is the beginning of strength. Let your day begin in conversation with Allah, and you will walk through it knowing you are never walking alone. After filling your heart with remembrance, Qur'an, and du'a, there is one decision that quietly determines how much of that barakah stays with you, what you do next. Many people pray Fajr beautifully, sit for a few moments, and then immediately return to sleep. Without realizing it, they disconnect from the momentum they just built. The issue is not rest itself, the issue is what we trade away when we choose sleep over awareness at this sacred time. The hours after Fajr are not ordinary hours. They carry a freshness that does not repeat later in the day. Your mind is clearer, your heart is lighter, and your willpower is stronger. When you choose to remain awake, even briefly, you are honori. In the blessing of that time, you are telling your soul that this connection matters more than comfort. Returning to sleep right after Fajr often leads to heaviness, both physically and spiritually. Many people notice that when they sleep again, they wake up feeling sluggish, unmotivated, or mentally foggy. The body may rest, but the soul feels dulled. Staying awake, even if you do something simple and calm, preserves the alertness and peace that Fajr brings. Staying awake does not mean forcing yourself into productivity or exhaustion. It means remaining present. It can be sitting quietly, reflecting, reading, planning your day, or engaging in light, beneficial activity. The goal is not to rush. The goal is to stay spiritually open. This is a time when your heart is most aligned, and alignment is fragile if neglected. There is also a discipline that develops when you resist the urge to return to sleep. That discipline carries into other areas of life. You become better at delaying gratification, at choosing what is meaningful over what is easy. This strength of will is a form of barakah. It helps you stay consistent in worship, focused in work, and patient in relationships. Avoiding sleep after Fajr also helps protect your intentions. Earlier, you set your niyyah for the day. When you stay awake, you give that intention time to settle. You allow it to move from words in the heart to direction in action. Sleep, especially deep sleep, can break that continuity. Staying awake preserves it. There is also a psychological shift that happens. When you start your day alert and engaged, you feel more in control of your time. The day does not feel like something that happens to you, it feels like something you step into with awareness. This sense of agency reduces stress and increases focus. Many people say they do not have time for spiritual growth, yet they give away one of the most valuable hours of the day without thought. Staying awake after Fajr does not require extra hours, it simply requires a different choice with the hour you already have. That hour, when used well, can nourish the soul and organize the mind. And remember, barakah is not always about doing more, it is about doing what you do with presence and purpose. A short period of wakefulness after Fajr, filled with calm and consciousness, can outweigh hours of restless activity later. This is how time expands without multiplying tasks. When staying awake feels difficult, remind yourself why you are doing it. You are not depriving yourself of rest. You are investing in clarity. You are choosing light over lethargy, connection over comfort. And over time, this choice becomes easier, even enjoyable, because you begin to feel the difference it makes. The early morning is a trust. When you guard it, it guards you. When you honor it, it honors you. Stay awake, stay present, and let the barakah you invited in after Fajr remain with you as the day unfolds, when you have guarded the early hours with worship, remembrance, clarity, and presence. The most natural next step is to move into your responsibilities while that barakah is still alive. Beginning your work, study, or service early is not just a productivity tip, it is a spiritual strategy. The morning carries a divine blessing that multiplies effort, sharpens focus, and brings ease into what might otherwise feel heavy. Starting early changes your relationship with time. Instead of chasing the day, you lead it. There is less rush, less pressure, and less mental clutter. Tasks that feel overwhelming later often feel manageable in the morning. This is because your mind is not yet saturated, and your heart is still connected. When you work from that state, the quality of what you produce improves, even if the quantity stays the same. Barakah in work is not about endless activity, it is about meaningful output. You may work fewer hours, yet accomplish more. You may face obstacles, yet navigate them with calm. This is the quiet effect of starting your day early with Allah. Your effort becomes aligned with purpose, and alignment attracts ease. When you begin your responsibilities early, you are also honoring the du'a made for blessing in the morning hours. That blessing shows itself in unexpected ways. A meeting goes smoother than planned. A solution appears just when you need it. A difficult task feels lighter than expected. These are not coincidences, they are signs of barakah. Starting early also protects your intentions. Earlier, you dedicated your day to Allah. Now, you act on that dedication. Work becomes more than a means to earn, it becomes a form of worship. When your intention is right, even mundane tasks carry reward. You approach your work with honesty, excellence, and integrity because you remember who you are ultimately working for. This approach also reshapes how you deal with challenges. When problems arise, you are less reactive and more reflective. You are more likely to respond with patience and wisdom because your heart has already been grounded. Early work sets a rhythm that carries through the day, reducing stress and emotional fatigue. There is also a service element to beginning early. Whether you are studying, working, caring for others, or building something, starting early allows you to give your best energy to what you do. That energy becomes a form of sadaqah. It benefits not only you, but everyone impacted by your efforts. Many people wait for motivation to appear before they begin. But barakah does not wait for motivation. It follows action taken with sincerity. When you step into your responsibilities early, you often find that motivation follows. Clarity replaces procrastination, and momentum replaces hesitation. This habit also builds self-respect. You trust yourself more when you keep commitments to yourself. You feel stronger, more capable, and more confident. This inner stability reflects outwardly in how you see yourself and how others respond to you. And understand this clearly, starting early does not mean burning yourself out. It means using your best hours wisely. It means working with awareness rather than exhaustion. Rest still has its place, but rest feels sweeter when it follows effort done with intention. When your day begins with Allah and continues with purposeful action, your life gains coherence. Faith is no longer separate from work, it flows through it. This is how spirituality becomes lived, not just practiced. So take the barakah you cultivated after Fajr and invest it into your work, your studies, and your service. Let your actions be an extension of your worship, and you will see how Allah places ease, clarity, and success into your path in ways you could never plan on your own.